If you are remotely interested in politics right now, you will see that everything is so polarizing. You will see people going all the way to the right, you will see people going all the way to the left. Everybody is so caught up in this idea, this wave, that they have to pick a side. They have to associate themselves with either this side when there's conspiracy theories, or this side when there's protests and this and that revolution. But in reality, the smart people in every scenario, the smart people in every situation throughout history always take advantages of both sides of the spectrum, because they focus on themselves. They focus on making themselves as useful as possible, as valuable as possible, and as rare as possible. It doesn't matter whoever's in power, left or right, or whoever's like pulling the puppet strings, or whatever's going to happen in the world. As long as you are a useful person, you are valuable. And when you are valuable, you are rare. And when you're rare, they pay a lot of money for you, my friend. Society, regardless of which way it goes, is in dire need of confident, charismatic leaders who can take the reins and lead people. And let me tell you one thing, these kind of people are not in their little propaganda machines on their laptops typing all these YouTube comments and getting freaked out. They're working on themselves. They're confidence maxing. So, let's get into the process. This, by the way, is pseudoscience, but it's a pseudoscience that kind of works because it's worked for me. So that's what I'm telling it to you, basically. If I asked you to tell me one thing that makes you scared, that you fear, something that makes your heart pump very quickly, visualize it for me right now. If your heart is pumping very quickly, or you're just like blankly staring at the screen like this, you found what it is. Now imagine if I could take that fear and make it so bland that it'll be like you drinking water. So ordinary that you'll never think about it again, it'll never bother you again. That's what extinguishing fear looks like, because fear and anxiety are the main obstacles to confidence. If you can get rid of them, boom, you're confident anyway. Because think about it, let's define fear right now. Fear is the concern, alright, of the unknown. It's because you don't know what's happening, you don't know how to handle what's happening. That is what fear is. So there's a treatment or a process the psychologists use in order to treat those who have like phobias or irrational fears of something. And it's called the exposure therapy. Let me give you an example. Imagine if someone is scared of spiders, right? They have an irrational fear of spiders. What do they call it? Arachnophobia or something, right? What a psychologist would do is that they will expose this patient or expose this individual to short periods of this stimulus, right? In very controlled environments, very safe environments. On the first day, they're going to show that patient a spider in a box. And maybe on the second day, they may open the lid and be like, okay, look, it's a spider, it's not going to do anything to you. And then the third day, or the fourth day, or the fifth day, or like months later, right, they will probably get the patient to give him food, give the spider food. And at the end of this therapy, what's going to happen is they're going to pick up that spider and they're going to put that on that patient's hands. This patient who had this irrational fear of spiders 5-6 months ago now has a spider crawling around on his hand, and he's perfectly fine with it, simply because he's been exposed to this stimulus, exposed to this fear, and understood, hey, nothing's really happening to me. My body, I'm still alive, I'm not being bit, I'm not being hurt, nothing's happening to me. So I'm losing the fear of spiders. This is what they call exposure therapy. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take this and put it on steroids. I want you to not expose yourself to stuff that you are scared of, or social situations, or whatever, right? Things that would make your heart pump, your eyes go blank. I don't want you to expose yourself in increments. I want you to completely overwhelm yourself with this stimulus. Once in a while. I'll tell you why. If you're somebody who wants to amp your confidence from 0 to 100 very quickly, and you don't really want to wait, you don't want to wait months and years, obviously you can't be confident right now, you can do that in like a couple of weeks. And you want to do this by exposing yourself to maximum stimulus, things that you feel like that your body can't handle. I want you to face things that you feel like your mind or your ego or your personality can't handle, right? I want you to face it anyway. So yeah, you can take those baby steps like this exposure therapy. You can maybe go and talk to that someone for 5 minutes, and then the next person you talk to them for 6 minutes or 7 minutes. Yeah, you can do that, but it's going to take so long, right? And in the meantime, life is still going on. You're wasting your time. Eventually, life will come and hit you in the face with a brick, and you won't be able to do anything about it. But if you maximize your exposure to the stimulus which you are scared, you'll quickly understand that, wait, this didn't kill me. This didn't hurt me. I don't need to be scared of that. And the more higher you place the bar, everything underneath that bar will seem just menial to you. It won't feel like it's a big deal. Let me give you an example. Suppose you're next time at a social gathering or a party or school or whatever, right? You want to think, how do I get everyone's eyes fixated on me? How do I get as much attention on me right now? And I want you to filter out all the options that you've created in your mind, all the possibilities, and I want you to pick the one that scares you the most. Let me tell you what I did one time. I think it was second year of uni or something. It was a party that I was invited to. I wasn't feeling great. I didn't really want to go. My friends didn't come. It was just me going to a party because these guys dipped. And I was like, I don't want to feel like this. I want to be the individual who's center of attention. I want to be the individual who is me, right? I can feel like me. Even though my mates are not around me, I still want to be me. So I realized I did the same thing and I said, okay, all the things that I could do in order to maximize, in order to amp my confidence from 0 to 100 straight away. I stood up on a table. I grabbed the speaker. They had this portable speaker and they were playing this music. I lit a cigarette, right? And I just started like blasting white coat music, you know, Katy Perry, Hot and Cold, stuff like this. And I just put my shades on. I was just vibing to it. And everybody just looked at me. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? I'm telling you that there is no better music that we can play right now other than Katy Perry. Everybody looked at me and they were like, what the Like, at that point, I was there like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But for the rest of the night, I felt like, bro, I did that, man. What the hell? But for the rest of the night, I was like, bro, why am I scared to do anything else? Why am I scared to talk? Why am I scared to talk to that person? Why am I scared of having, like, everybody just surround me and just talk to me and I'm just sitting on the sofa like this? Why am I scared of that? My confidence is back. You go from 0 to 100 very quickly. And that's my point. The reality is, people who struggle with confidence and social skills and all of this, like, beautiful things, right, that we all, like, take for granted, or I take for granted now because I've kind of aced it, they underestimate themselves. They completely underestimate their ability to deal with situations. And they think they can't handle much. They can't handle the embarrassment. They can't handle the attention, or whatever. But the more overt, crazy things that you do like this, the more everything else, like the regular everyday thing about speaking to that girl or speaking to this girl, or like getting as much attention on you as possible, or just owning the area around you and just being as confident as you can be. All these little things, these daily things that you could normally do. It's like training a war horse. In World War II, they used to like shoot bullets around horses because these horses needed to go into war and trench warfare. You can't have them like freaking out when they hear like bullets, right? So these trainers used to like use guns and like kind of shoot around them. So eventually the horse would be like, yeah, is a bullet, whatever, right? The same way, when you kind of calm your nervous system, it cuts away the anxiety. It helps you be real. It helps you become comfortable being real.